It is Saturday night once again. This is the Overnight Mouse Party. I'm DM Foss, and so far tonight we have Gizzard Gary. How you doing, Gizzard?
Good day, mate. I'm doing fairly well, thank you.
And Guns and Barbecue. How you doing?
Um, Fair to Midland. Just because UWebs isn't here and somebody's got to say it.
Alrighty then. Oh, um, let me get the banner going. As I remembered, at the bottom of the screen is an email address, untouchedwithfoss@gmail.com, and a link for the Discord server. Both places you can submit comic suggestions or pictures within reason. Uh, and if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Whatever we talk about, agree with, disagree with. I read all the comments. They are appreciated. I really do appreciate them.
He does.
And there's a link pinned to the top of the chat for this week's poll. If you haven't voted in the poll, head over there, give it a vote. We'll take a look at it. Uh, as long as I don't forget. And let me say hello. Let me get my comments up here. Say hello to everybody that's out there so far. DJ Play Nice. TJ Fishing from Down Under. Down Under where? Down Under there.
But she said,
Gizzard Gary. Rotten Tooth. Also known as Boomstick. Mr. Bob Dabalina. Ozzy Osbourne. Is that everybody that said something so far? Oh, Roy E. Munson.
"Good evening, Mr. Munson."
I think that's everybody that said something. If I happen to miss you, say hello again. And I do apologize.
Hello again. Sorry. I know I just bust out into a car song, but it worked.
Oh, so Gary, you said you had a topic you wanted to talk about. What did you want to talk about? The floor is yours.
Well, the floor is mine, but the ceiling is not.
The roof is on fire.
We don't need no water.
Oh gosh! Wow, X Adam one's out there. How about that? What can we talk about? Let's see.
X got him one's
Let's
orange
see.
shotgun.
Foss's baseball team is in the playoffs.
Ooh,
They have
sports ball.
they have won their division.
They did. They get a bye.
So very, very good. It's been a while since the Mariners have been
Every
in the playoffs.
like clockwork, once every 20 years.
Well, my team is taking the playoffs off this year, so we were in last year. So it's your turn.
So we'll see how they do. I haven't really followed the baseballs in a while. Partly because I don't get that channel anymore, and so I just kind of keep tabs on what's going on, but I haven't watched super close. But yeah, it's nice to see them back in the playoffs.
So, barbecue, how's your team doing this year?
Well, if I had a team, but they don't exist anymore because they got a BS name like the Guardians instead of what they should be called, the Indians. So now, like, if I do catch any baseball, I'll normally root for the Braves just because they didn't bow down to social justice crap.
Not yet. Braves
But from
lost
what I
to.
heard, the old Indians were first in their division, so I guess they were doing well.
It is tied right now with 1 game left in the season. The Guardians and the Tigers are tied up at 87-74.
I'm
One.
gonna pull for the Tigers in that one.
They are both playoff bound, by the way. The only question would be who the division champion would be.
Yep. And at that point, I'm still pulling for Detroit because we've got the Erie Seawolves, which is the AA affiliate for them. So, I mean, heck, I've gotten to see some of those guys play, up in Erie before they ever got to the show.
If they end up in a tie, by the way, the Guardians have the tiebreaker. So,
What's that? Bowing down to social justice? That figures.
so
Right,
basically, for the Tigers to win the division, they would have to win tomorrow and the Guardians lose. That's the only way.
That's possible. Who do they play? Who do the Guardians play?
Who do the Guardians play? They are playing the Rangers
Oh,
at
shit.
home. The Tigers are on the road against the Red Sox. So,
I have no idea how the Red Sox are doing, but it's the Red Sox, so I feel like they're probably going to give some problems. But Rangers haven't been so hot the last few years, have they?
no.
Yeah, so damn it.
Oh, we'll have to start giving cricket scores for TJ so he doesn't feel left out.
Is that even a real game? I thought they
It is.
played. I thought they played Australian rules football down there.
They do. I got in back 80s and up to maybe mid 90s. I got heavy into watching when I could Australian rules football.
I never did understand the rules.
I barely did, but it was still fun to watch.
It's a big old field. I know that.
Yes.
Yeah. When you throw it, you have to throw it kind of backwards. You can't throw it forwards. You can kick it forwards. And when you cross their goal line, you have to lay on the ground. The judges in the white coats, you get however many points one hand is, or however many points two hands is. I don't remember. It's been quite a while since I've watched.
There's a few players from the Australian rugby teams that have transitioned to the NFL now. The last couple seasons.
Punters. There's been a couple punters that came out of Australian rules football. Is there any? What's been going on 2A wise? There was a couple things I know I wanted to talk about, but I forgot to write them down.
Oh, we had something like that. This is a 2A chat?
It tries to be.
Do any of us do 2A chats anymore? I feel like this week has been filled with sports ball.
Well, we can't talk about sports ball anymore because G-Webs is in here.
Oh. He actually timed it really well.
He did.
Talk about it all you want. I'll just leave again.
No, we were just starting to talk about 2A topics, so you came at just the right time.
That's why I said you timed it really well.
I did see is it Duncan that's gone back up to the Supreme Court? They're hoping they'll take that the list of organizations that have submitted, I forget the term for it, the friend of the court filings in support of Duncan.
You talking about an amicus
Yes,
brief?
amicus brief. is extensive. It's like 27 states have filed in support of Duncan. Um, all the regulars, NRA, GOA, SAF, but also Blazing Sword and Liberal Gun Club is on the list
Nice.
that have submitted, which I thought was very good.
Yes.
So everybody's just kind of holding their breath now to see if the Supreme Court will take it up. Uh, I'm
Now,
thinking there was.
sorry,
Go
Paul.
ahead. No,
I was just going to ask which one the Duncan case is again, because there's so many cases in California that have not only just waiting to make it up to the Supreme Court, but there's been a couple that have been GVR'd, things like that, and sent all the way back down to district court, and they're just now getting their way back up through. I really have trouble keeping each of them straight. So which one is Duncan
Duncan's the
exactly?
magazine capacity.
Oh, is it the magazine one? Okay.
Yeah, and that did get kicked down back to the ninth, and the ninth kicked it back down to the district court or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it worked its way back, and well, it went back to Benitez, who ruled the same way he did the first time. So it went back to the ninth, and the ninth overturned him, and now it's submitted back to the Supreme Court.
All those cases that got GVR'd, when they went back to the circuit's like, oh, well, this has to go all the way back to what's his face, which he's like, why? I found this the way it was supposed to be founded. With text and history, not this two-step process that you guys are trying to do. And then they're like, we don't care, and they still make them do it. And so I just wasn't sure if it was the handgun roster.
No, it's not that one. Yeah. So, I knew I needed to come out and write these down, and I didn't. Because I'm pretty sure there was something else going on that I wanted to write down, but I don't remember. Yeah. I did have a question to pose to the panel and those out in the chat. It came out of G-Web's his 100 gun questions chat he did the other day. That I thought was an interesting question. How has your opinion on guns, or has your opinion on guns in any way changed since buying your first gun? Was there did you have a preconceived notion that once you owned a firearm and got shooting it, that changed how you viewed guns or something dealing with guns? So I guess we'll start with G-Webs. I know you've been around guns your whole life, so but from when you were a kid to now, has your views on guns changed, or has there been any view on guns that you thought at the beginning your view has changed now?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, because that would have been, I don't know when you want to count, like I said, my whole life, so I don't know when you want to count the beginning or something, like when I was a little kid or when I first figured it out compared to later on, but you take them for granted when you're a little kid, just like a car or anything else. And then after a while, you figure out these aren't like a car or anything else, because a whole chunk of the country thinks that you shouldn't be able to own it, and they don't want to put any effort into knowing anything about it other than I've been told you shouldn't have it, so you shouldn't have it. And now you're persecuted. You're in a different section of the world or the country or the population, whatever you want to say, because you hold a value that some other people have been told is an extreme value, or is a value that, there's an opposite opinion of, or something like that. So, and obviously it was, depending on what facet of guns you're talking about, owning a small gun, there was no point in owning a small gun a long time ago. Like, oh, you're going to the range, it's harder for you to control that small gun. What's the point of owning it? There was just never any thought of carrying it. So, so many things about guns have changed. I don't know. Be actually a better answer to say how much of the philosophy about guns or the thoughts about guns are even still the same, except for the Second Amendment. I'd say very little. It's almost a different world. Kind of like cars, though. You could like cars. When I was a little kid, it would have been the 70s. When Gizzard was a kid, it would have been earlier, right? Like the cars back then were like, the big thing was stick shift or automatic. Like, you know what I mean? There wasn't any even thought of having a battery in your car, or some of the hybrids like minivans and shit we have now. Like that kind of stuff just wasn't even on the playing field back then. So you couldn't, you wouldn't be able to say, what do you think about minivans to when we were all little kids? It was like, well, there's station wagons and there's vans, but there's no such thing as a minivan. So yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be just an easier question to come up with what things are even the same after all that much time, because it's so different.
Yeah, Gary was excited when Cadillac came out with the little push button on the floor for the starter. You didn't have to crank to turn the engine over anymore.
Yeah, it's a huge deal.
What about you, Gary?
Wouldn't you have to clean up after the engines anymore and feed them all the time?
Well, you didn't have to clean up after the horses anymore. That was a great thing. Once you started driving the cars, once the horses got off the road, because they'd be scared of the cars, and that was a really bad deal. Mr. Knives is out there, by the way, speaking of chocolate. But anyway, let's see, my opinion of guns since I bought my first one. Well, I guess I didn't realize just how attached I would get to them and want to try all kinds of different things and stuff like that until I experienced my first one. I thought one gun done would probably be it. That was my opinion when I bought my first gun. And boy, was I wrong about that. I just got absorbed into the culture and eventually into this. I had no idea I was going to become a YouTuber talking about guns and stuff like that when I bought my first one. I didn't do anything on YouTube back then. So it's basically changed my entire life.
How much was a gun back then? Like 4 pence?
It was in 2015 when I bought my first handgun.
You could barter 2 chickens and some beets.
Yeah, something like that.
You buy a lock and a barrel and you'd whittle a stock out of some wood.
If I went down to Oklahoma and bought it off the Native Americans, I could just trade them a few shiny beads for it and usually work really well.
What about you, Barbecue?
So, a lot like G-Webs, I might echo some of the things that he said. Try not to, though. I've grown up around it my whole life. When I was 3, I remember getting my BB gun from my grandfather. When he passed, I got my first rifle because that rifle he had gotten from his grandfather. So then I was the chosen grandson to get that rifle, which to me, it's a pretty big deal because he had 5 other grandsons at that time to choose from. So that was pretty awesome. Like I said, I was 8 then. You know, having done odd jobs for family members growing up, and payment would be, like, oh, here's a double barrel or something, to buy my first firearms, things like that. So, like I said, grew up around my whole life, and a lot like you have said, you kind of took it for granted. I've talked about this on some previous lives and whatnot. The real light that went off for me, it was more of a two-way thing, not necessarily guns. Was just I was talking to a shop owner across the PA Ohio line over in Ohio, and there was a new gas well that we were running security on over there. And I kept passing that gun shop, and I was like, I need to stop in there, check it out, just for giggles. And when I got there, found out that they did gunsmithing and stuff like that. And when I went to school for gunsmithing, they're like, whenever you find a shop that does it, ask them to show you around, look at their setup, stuff like that. And he was kind enough to do so and whatnot, and just BSing with him. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was something that pertained to hunting, because that's what my general firearms experience was just using them for hunting. And the moment that clicked for me was when he said, damn it, it's not about hunting. And it, like, I knew the Second Amendment wasn't about hunting, but I didn't realize the way I spoke was just putting firearms in that context all the time. And I would say that's probably where my activism began to blossom, as I realized, like, oh, I need to change the way I talk about these things like that. But the love of firearms, the intrigue of them, the interest, everything else, like, that portion's never changed. Like I said, it's more so just the Second Amendment part, and having that develop in the last decade and a half.
I didn't.
Glad that your love of guns blossomed.
I didn't grow up around guns. Um, I wouldn't. I don't think my opinions on guns themselves have changed from when I bought my first one until now. I, after becoming a gun owner and then talking to other gun owners, I came to realize the diversity of opinions among gun owners about guns. That was probably one of the biggest opinions. I figured everybody was kind of the same about guns, but no. You get the whole spectrum of gun owners. There's people that own guns and hate guns, and people that own guns and love guns, and
People
all in
might
between.
think, what is he talking about? Somebody that owns guns but hates them? Yeah, they're called 9mm shooters.
Well, kind of the people that they're afraid of something, so they bought one, but they're afraid of the gun also. Um, all the way to the people that own one of everything because they love them so much.
I try.
I can't afford to be like that, but and out in the chat, it So Ozzy said my first was in 74. It was about hunting. Now it's about self defense. Roy, my opinion on guns has not changed, but my opinion of the government changed a lot when I realized how many hoops they make law abiding citizens jump through just to exercise the right.
You know how in the cartoons when the hungry person in the life raft sees the other person as like a pork chop, right? Because they're so hungry,
Yeah.
they're looking at him and they look like a
Yep.
chicken or something. When Ozzy looks at a new gun, he just sees the holster wrap around it in his mind, and that's all he looks at is like how much leather it's going to be and how he's going to stitch it. So he acts like he's got some other reason to buy guns, but he's buying them so that he has another excuse to make a holster, I think.
TJ said mine has not changed, but my government has changed a lot. For those who might not know, TJ's down in Australia. And Mr. Bob said gun design, materials, and available accessories has changed immensely since I was first exposed to guns in the 60s. X Adam 1, I grew up around many people that killed, so I thought guns were all about death. Then I went to a gun shop and saw all the cool designs, function, types, etc. I just love them now.
So, if I may, I kind of have a question for X Adam One. Actually, probably gonna be a couple questions here. And one, since you just said that what you saw was uh, people using them to kill all the time, did you have a negative perception of firearms? And then, if so, what changed that exactly to make you even want to go into a gun shop? And then, what led you to make that first purchase?
Brian Bridges is out there. Said guns are like boats. We can call them she, and they are beautiful to view and run. I've never been into naming things. Um, like cars, it'll just be whatever model. If it's a Honda, it's the Honda. When I had a Mitsubishi, it was the Mitsubishi. Well, it was the Outlander, but it was a Mitsubishi Outlander.
You run out of names after a while, so that
You do.
works until you start actually buying guns, and then you're like, there's not that many girl names.
The one exception, as far as I can remember, the only thing I've ever given inanimate object I've given a human name was my Wii controller. I had a black Wii controller. I called it Black Beauty. That's the only thing I think that I've ever really named.
I will name things sometimes, but it's like a lot of things. I just get this gut feeling for some reason where I'm like, oh, like if I'm walking past the scratchy lottery ticket machine, this doesn't happen to me anymore since I lost my vision because I can't see the tickets well enough. But I would normally go, oh, I'm going to spend money on this ticket if I had the gut feeling. If I didn't have the gut feeling and I just put the money in to get a ticket because I felt like it, I'd lose every time. But if I had that gut feeling, I'd win. And kind of same goes with naming something. Like if for some reason it comes to me where I'm like, this thing needs a name, then I'll name it. But otherwise, I'm not forcing it.
The goddamn bacon's out there, and so is M. Gabriel. I don't know, Gary, do you name your stuff? Do you give them human names?
What stuff were you referring to?
Your guns or your
Oh,
cars? Not your junk.
no, I don't.
Wow, I just have. It's never. It's never. Uh, it's just never been a thing for me. I've never wanted to call a car by a female name or whatever. Just, I don't know.
I think it's if you're in the Navy, you're around boats. I think that's where it comes from. I don't know. Maybe it's because we used to have horses and they have names, and then you get a car, and then like, oh, that's my transportation. I'm going to name it also, maybe.
I don't know. It could be.
I could see how it originated from that. I think nowadays, though, for a lot of people, it's just habit. They don't even think of why they're doing it or anything. They're like, "Oh, I got a new car. I'm going to name it." But I could definitely see how it derived from that.
Show of hands of people who have almost died driving. I mean, have you done that yet? I wish I'd say it only happened once, but
Really makes you feel alive.
oh my God. Like, I mean, depending on what you did, I almost fell off a mountain one time. You ever fall off a mountain, like off a really narrow road going too fast like an idiot and almost die falling off a mountain?
Only my dream.
When I have almost died falling off a mountain, you appreciate very much how gravity works and, the whatever you want to call, like the physics of a car not falling off a mountain. Like, holy crap, like you really fall in love with a vehicle that saves you from dying. And I'm sure there's lots and lots of circumstances. So I could see somebody. And then the other thing would be like, I've had jobs where I delivered, out of my vehicle, and I was basically in it constantly. If I was awake, I was in it. And I mean, you're a truck driver, you know what I mean? Like when you're intimate with the thing, and cars are, I mean, come on, we're like, like, can we be more? Is there a thing that we're more intimate with besides our clothes than our car? We're sitting in it, we're touching it. We have to constantly, what I mean? We have to like touch every part of it if we fix it ourselves. Like we're, I think, more intimate with our car. Our guns we take apart completely, but what's another product that we own that we take apart completely and maintain ourselves? Almost everything complicated we throw away and get another one or take it to some expert.
Yep.
Yeah, what X Adam 1 said is about the only other thing that we take apart that we spend that much attention on is men, at least. Or lesbians, I guess. Men and lesbians have a lot of things in common, I'm just saying. Not everything.
And I think this might be answering barbecues. Except once said when I moved to San Antonio, my brother invited me to test fire a new shotgun with him. While waiting, I checked out the shop's display and fell in love with the M&P 9L Performance Center. I had to have it.
This is the one time we'll make an exception for 9mm because it got us X Adam 1.
It's a gateway drug.
But it's a small exception.
Well, they didn't stop with 1 9mm, so obviously it wasn't enough.
Roy said, I name all of my electronics that are attached to the Wi-Fi. Actually, yes, I have. I did do that with the computer and the phones.
That's a good point. And hopefully you change your Wi-Fi number.
I usually go in and change that password. Not the password to log on, but the password inside to change stuff.
Well, what about password? It's called 7135 Exo Link or something. Like some people will change that to be something family connection or something like that.
Oh, mine says AFT ban. And then I have a guest network, and that one says FBI ban.
Yeah. So outside of those, I think that's the only one. But that was more just so I could differentiate the devices for the Wi-Fi. Not because I had grown attached to them. I don't know. And the guns, I don't have any fancy guns, so none of them are really worth naming.
What about saying something like the Blue Bomber or the Brass something? You know what I mean? Like giving something like a name, but not a girl's name.
Now, it's even like my two Kimbers, which are almost identical. It's just the Kimber and the other Kimber.
You wouldn't call them like the twins.
No.
Or the pair,
No.
the combo, the set.
No.
What if you
Nope,
both
just-
wore them all the time together and they were in a double rig combo that Ozzy made for you?
They would just be the Kimbers.
Two Kimbers that are not a set.
Yeah. If it was, if I had like the whatever the revolver is, the KS9 or whatever. I forget what the Kimber revolver is called. It would just be the Kimber, the revolver. And no Runson, Roy. I that would not fly. My wife is Japanese, and we've had World War II discussion, and only one, and then we agreed not to talk about the war again. So I wouldn't use those. Dear God, I think the world is coming to an end. Rich White's out there.
What?
I heard that he was wrong.
He's going to come in to make excuses why he's not actually wrong.
No, he's probably going to say that he's just up to go to the bathroom and not going to jump in here because no stones.
He said he can't sleep.
Oh, so he could jump in here.
I want to know who's stopping him from sleeping, why he's not allowed to sleep anymore.
It's all those cats.
Oh, yeah, we've heard it when it's quiet there and it's like meow, 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 meow. It's probably horrible when they're all awake.
That or
Maybe
he's
that's
got
why-
clowns in his house.
Well, with all those cats, there's at least one trying to steal his breath while he's sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Plus, you know how many of them would lay on your chest at the same time? You can only have about 16 of them on there before you start to have real issues breathing.
Rich might be a robot. He says he's equating right now. He caught himself. He's eating right now.
Does not
Computing.
compute. Does not compute.
Mr. Bob said, I have an M1 carbine named Kowalski and a Grand named Leroy Brown because it's the baddest gun in the whole damn town.
Yep.
I don't know. Better than old King Kong?
Stronger than a junkyard dog. I don't have problems with other people naming their stuff. I don't care. You want to name your stuff? I don't know. I just can't do it.
I don't have any problem at all doing it. I just don't do it. Like, I never thought to, and I don't bother. I think I did. I have named them before, but that was when I owned like one that my uncle gave me, and then I quit doing that.
We'll take a look at this week's poll. There it is. So this week's poll is, let me refresh it here first. Make sure we're all up to date. Was first. There we go. Do you trust the court system? This was I forgot to do a poll, and I was working on videos for the Second Amendment Supreme Court Cases channel. But yes, they are arbiters of the law. No, just another government entity used for control. Justice is an illusion or judge dread. And 61% said no. It's just another government entity.
Did I drop out?
Apparently,
Okay.
18% said yes.
Why you make it little?
13% said illusion.
Why come you don't make it big?
8% said judge dread.
It's little. Isn't it not look big?
Oh, when I brought you back in, I think it made it little again. There we go. Oh, not super surprised, but I didn't. I think a little more for no than I was expecting. But looking at the comments, Caucasian Sasquatch said illusion. Love you, brother. Love you too. Darth Hodges said, I trust the system, but not the people in it. Fuku YT Mark 6, Boomstick. I haven't trusted a judge since King Solomon. The goddamn bacon. You were the deciding vote, not guilty. It's not the same as innocent. Yet another reminder that the system we use to judge people are made and ran by the same people. Judge those implications for yourself. Gun websites. Now I have a decent YouTube channel to monitor them. Yes, I trust them more than ever. DDNV6SW. Depends on the political affiliation of the judge. Guns and barbecue, for the most part, yes. However, I do know that times it can be perverted and exploited. That being said, we have the best justice system in the world when compared to anywhere else. Grumpy CB, we are a nation of laws, poorly written and randomly enforced. Mark Twain. DJ Play Nice gave the thumbs up. X Adam 1, I have seen the court system repeatedly not followed its own law too many times to have faith in it. Thank you to everybody that voted.
Wouldn't you be scared if we lived somewhere where, like, the court system was fast and correct again? The court system was fast and correct again. The court system was fast and correct again. Like, I'd be skeptical as shit if that was the result of everything that happened.
Well, I have said in the past that as frustrating as it is good that the wheels of justice grind slowly.
Yes.
It kind of is. A couple people have said, it's the best system going, but it's the people that run it will be where it falters. How good and how fair. Although I had, there's the Law of Self-Defense, who I follow on YouTube, he's kind of gone off the rails a little bit, but as he said, that the court system is not about fairness; it's an administrative process. But yeah, I can see that it's not there to say who should win, who should lose, other than according to the law.
Yes.
Which doesn't always happen. But there's a lot worse out there. It's kind of as Barbecue was saying.
Well, that's one of the things that I've tried to explain to people in past years is the law is supposed to be black and white. It's not supposed to be gray. It's this or it's that, legal or not legal. But that's also why I said like it can be perverted because unfortunately we do have judges who, for one reason or another, will take and try and twist something to fit whatever narrative they want it to, and whether they're being blatantly obtuse and playing dumb, or whether they just are ignorant to what they're ruling on because they didn't take the time to study previous case law. Like there are times where it does get perverted in those instances, but as a whole, it's usually pretty black and white.
It's a pretty good system. You could have somebody or even a group of people that think like, left-handed people are no good, and this person, like they could have some really weird ideas that the rest of the country doesn't share. Have it go through the system, but it's designed so that I don't know what they call that. Like there's a bottleneck, or there's like a place where it then gets, rises to where other people are going to scrutinize it, so that you can't like monopolize or capitalize on a. I mean, you can, I guess, screw with a region, but you can't screw with the whole country. Basically, you're going to get to a point where there's checks and balances. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that for just the justice system, but I don't know if I'm saying it right. But you know what I mean? There's like, you don't have to worry about being, what's the word? Like, you're not susceptible or like at risk of dealing with whatever just the local people's preferences. Like at some point, it gets out to beyond just the local people, to where you can get like an actual rational look at it, or impartial look at the whole thing. Ideally, obviously you can look at an example of where something didn't go according to plan, or the plan it did, but then it still screwed the person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think anybody can create a system that never has a problem. And if it is, it's because it's black and white. Like I say, like the system's always right. There's your answer. The system's always right. That's how you get a system that's always right. The system's always right. It's like, doesn't quite work.
Roy wants to know who's snoring. That's Bacon Bits, the pug.
Oh, you can hear him? I picked him up. Yeah. Sorry. He looked so cuddly and he has a kissy face, so I picked him up to kiss his face.
Garage Guy's out there. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm going to put him back down and scold him for making noises, and I'll spank him.
X Adam 1 said, same crime, similar motives. One person gets 5 years, the other gets 40 to life. It's all over the place.
That taught him a lesson. All right, let's put it down.
But with some of that, what people fail to take into account is, was this, while it's same crime, similar motive, was this person's first ever infraction? Meanwhile, the person getting 40 years to life, was this their 17th infraction? And like they were given opportunity after opportunity and they just haven't fixed anything. There's a lot that plays into it. Now, if it's
and also is it the same prosecutor? If it's a different prosecutor,
different prosecutor, different judge, different attorneys. How was one person's demeanor in court compared to another? Do they show remorse or not? There's a lot that
you get a decent person shooting a decent caliber like 45 ACP, and then you get the criminal shooting 9mm. They're not going to be treated the same by the court.
Well, I mean, if you're shooting like a 10mm or 44 mag or something, clearly you just were hell bent on causing death and destruction.
Oh, I thought if you shoot a 45, it's like, oh, you're respectable. Like that was misunderstanding or something, because that's a respectable caliber. Shooting 9mm, on the other hand, you only had nefarious intent from the beginning. You would have never bought that caliber if you were here to help.
Oh, there's that too. Yep.
Roy said, I think I prefer a Thunderdome system. Way more exciting than court.
Like this little old lady rear-ended this guy from like who's doing tile flooring for a living into the Thunderdome with him. Like, let's see who's right and wrong.
Oh, in the comments, there was a response that somebody brought up Judge Wapner, and
Hmm.
I used to watch the People's Court with Doug Llewellyn outside interviewing the people, and that although they sign agreements to abide by the decision, there was a case where the guy who lost in court, in the People's Court, said, "I'm not going to pay," and so the other guy looks at Judge Wapner. Wapner's like, "There's nothing I can do about it. You're going to have to take him to court."
Yeah.
And they
X
left
Adam
that
One
in the
wants.
show, or that was like in TV Guide after the fact?
No, that was during that was on the show.
They must have gotten at some point like feedback, like there must be like we need to know what happens if it doesn't get resolved here or something. Because it's not like what I mean with all the production and stuff. They didn't like, oh, we accidentally didn't delete that or something, and nothing was happening live or anything, right? So I wonder how that decision was made or why they included that. I guess.
X Adam One wants to know, G Webs, if you shoot someone with a 9mm, does that count as accidental, or is it considered temporary insanity?
I was gonna say like it automatically goes to some sort of like ulterior like what's that called, a nefarious motive or something, because you intentionally went out and bought the most evil caliber in the first place. Now if you were just minding your business and something happened and you had to react and picked up the first thing that fell down in front of you, then it's not your fault. You know what I mean? Now if there was a 1911 and a Beretta in front of you and you had to save a life and you picked the Beretta, that's on you. But if like only a Mac 9 falls in front of you and you got to save the day, no, well you're allowed to pick that up and use it. No one's gonna look worse on you.
Defense dads out there
Evening.
probably woke up, had to go to the bathroom.
There's a lot of people that drink a lot of water today.
Yep.
Or I guess yesterday.
And Ozzy brings up the Illinois gun ban case was heard in the Seventh Circuit last week. Unless it gets sent back down, we'll be going to the Supreme Court. I listened to that, and it was interesting that the DOJ sent somebody to testify in that.
Listen to pieces. I don't know if I must have been listening to someone who was showing highlights, because I don't think I was just listening to the raw. Did you post the raw?
I didn't.
No, then
I
was listening to some bites or something.
It was probably, I know Crump.
Oh yeah, I probably was watching Crump for a while.
Crump streamed it. I went to the Seventh Circuit and watched theirs.
I just watched the end, I guess, because I was just minding my business and was like, "Oh, this is live," and I caught it like 15 minutes before it ended, so I only saw the end, I think.
But I don't know. They were testifying against the ban, so that's good.
Unless they're like, "This ban isn't enough. We're testifying against it because we want more."
The thing is, so if it goes to the Supreme Court, I'm not sure if I'm thrilled about the DOJ having testified in favor of the Second Amendment on this.
Why?
Simply because
you hate Second Amendment.
No, because when the Department of Justice says, "Hey, we really want you to take this case," a lot of times the Supreme Court will take the case because they're being pushed by the government to do it. Case in point, the Rahimi case. And there's plenty of other instances. But anyways, likewise, I feel like the Supreme Court is going to look at this and go, "Oh, hey, who's supposed to now argue for the government?"
Is it like you pay more attention to this? Both of you guys pay more attention to this than I do. Is it like the government will be like, "We need this because it's timely," or "We need this because"? I mean, is there a difference between "We need this because it's timely and we'd rather be done quickly" versus like it's everybody's advantage to get this done and over with. Like, this is important. So does the Supreme Court come along and go, oh, I agree, this is important, let's take care of this? Or do they look at this more politically and go, well, you're a Democrat, so we're whatever, but it's not one person, but you know what I mean? Like, as a whole, do they look, or whoever makes the decision, look at it politically and just decide? Or is it like, hey, we're all on the same team here, even though we might not be, we're all playing the same sport here, even though we're not on the same team. We all understand that because of the way we're playing the sport here, this needs to be addressed. So, yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, is there like any kind
I
of?
think it's closer to that where, if the DOJ or says, "Hey, we would like you to look at this," then it holds a little more weight.
They actually do. It's not like they're like, maybe we will, maybe we won't until you tell, like, give us a berries or something, like that kind of shit.
Yeah,
that I've ever heard of. Yeah,
I think part of it is. Oh, go ahead, Les.
No. Go ahead.
Well, obviously, the defendant in the case has an interest, but when the DOJ is like, "Hey, we want you to take this," now it's like, okay, both parties want this to end up here.
I mean, I know they're separate, and it's not like just because the executive branch rings a bell, the Supreme Court doesn't just run over and do whatever they want. And I'm assuming it's one, because they're just two big giant aircraft carriers that can't just hang out together. They need some space, or they're both huge organizations that have their own infrastructures and shit, so nothing can just happen immediately. But I suspect they are, allies. It's like nobody's trying to be like, no, we want the Supreme Court to be the ultimate power in the United States. Therefore, we're going to put all this shit that you really need on hold so that we can hold, leverage over you, or nothing like that. Like, I don't never hear about any kind of power plays and shit like that. It's more like they're just dragging their ass because they haven't got their shit together, or they've got to do 4 things before they do the 5th thing or something. I don't know. You don't really hear too much about them except for when they're actually doing something. So I don't know what the motivation is, or what the, who the orchestrates their, when they decide to do shit.
Yeah, but my concern is, one, you've got the DOJ who sent people to testify on behalf of this case. So when it goes to the Supreme Court, who's trying it for the government?
Well, it would be the state.
No, the state is the one with the position, and the government saying no. So, right, barbecue saying who's the one who's arguing with the state.
I thought at that point, DOJ takes over when it goes up to the Supreme Court, though.
I don't think
or
so.
is it still the state attorneys?
Should still be the state attorney. It's the only time the DOJ would be if it was whoever v. USA, rather than whoever.
Oh yeah.
The state.
Say that's where I screwed myself up, was with the Rahimi case, but the Rahimi case was challenging federal statute. So I retract everything I just said.
And Rich, I emailed you a link, and I think Gizzard texted you a link.
You'd prefer a fax? Does anyone have a fax machine? They could fax it over to them.
Vance Dad wants to know who's been craving baked Nebraska lately.
Heck yeah.
That's where you take a giant casserole full of wheat and then bake it.
It's pretty close.
Frozen wheat, and then you bake the frozen wheat. Sorry.
The Alfredo's pretty good. I wasn't impressed with the spaghetti, but the Alfredo.
I was just about to say that. I didn't care for the red sauce, but the white sauce I did enjoy quite a bit.
Yes.
Oh wait, what are you talking about? Is that a real thing?
It is a real thing.
Yeah.
It's
I thought he was
a
making-
pasta dish.
It's a 9-inch pie pan. Half of it's red sauce and pasta. Half of it's white sauce and pasta.
Hmm.
Because Nebraska Cornhuskers sports ball for you are red and white.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I've got a friend, and I find it difficult to disagree with him. But my grandma was Italian, so I grew up eating my grandma's Italian food. So nothing I've eaten ever is compared to that. It's just different. They always put salt and shit in it. That's gross. So my friend will never eat in an Italian restaurant because he refuses to pay for spaghetti boiled and then some spaghetti sauce on it. And there's not too much at an Italian restaurant, isn't that? So do you agree with that being a cheap, or do you like the food enough that you can see paying for it? I mean, obviously you paid for it before, but I tend to, since I hang out with them all the time, I almost never go to Italian restaurants, and I don't really care because, like I say, nothing's like my grandma's.
I don't know. Yes, what he's saying is true, but it's the experience. You're out with friends, the ambiance.
Yeah,
the
like when you're going to eat.
Well, that
it's
and
food tastes better. There's was a study, but food tastes better when someone else makes it because of the expectation of the food.
Yeah.
Sorry, barbecue. I cut you off.
And you're
I
automatically decomposing it or whatever, like thinking, did I put too much salt or is that enough egg or whatever? You know what I mean? I could see that part of it too.
was just gonna say the cost of it is very cheap. I think last year it was like $10 or something. I mean, it was. I couldn't believe
That's a
how
good point. You're
cheap it
buying in
was.
Nebraska, not like some city where it's going to cost you $40 for a plate of spaghetti.
Well, you're not going to something like Olive Garden or something like that. This is a mom and pop restaurant. And with that, though, I know what you mean on like, boiled pasta. Now they just threw some sauce on it because like a traditional spaghetti dinner, you're supposed to cook the noodles to like a stiff al dente, and you're supposed to then finish them off in the pasta sauce.
Yeah, most places it's more like cafeteria. We make spaghetti sitting here. When you order it, we pull it out of the pot. We take
and
it
ladle out sauce. Yep.
And there's no fault. Like, what are you going to do? Nobody can do everything from scratch all the time. But anyway, so when you guys were talking about, my head doesn't go to Italian restaurant, I guess. So I thought you guys were kidding or whatever. But I think I remember you guys talking about it last year. There's some kind of dead stuff in there, or is it all just pasta and sauce?
What do you mean dead stuff?
Meat?
Like
Can't
meat?
remember.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, I was gonna say,
seems like the Alfredo side had a little bit of chicken in it, didn't it?
That's what I was thinking.
I think so.
So we've got Rich White. Rich, explain yourself.
Yeah, how do you explain this?
Right now.
Yeah.
Explain what?
Justify your position on this.
On what? On what are we talking about?
How was it done that earlier?
I don't know.
Everything we talked about when you weren't here.
Okay, so the justice system, in other words. Well, somebody brought up Solomon. I just want to say Solomon was not infallible, especially if you look at his later life. He screwed up majorly and caused one of the falls of Israel. So, I mean, even Solomon screwed up. So if that's your guide for the judicial system, keep in mind anything that's created by man is going to be flawed in some way. We're all flawed creatures. Are the flaws something we can overcome? And like others have said, when you look around the world at other justice systems, ours isn't all that bad. I mean, it could be worse. We could have Sharia. So just keep that kind of stuff in mind too, folks.
Anytime I hear King Solomon, I always think of the Fugees because they mentioned King Solomon in Ready or Not.
I don't know who that is. That's from the Bible?
Yeah. He was the son of King David.
Yeah, the story about the two women, one
Two
rolls
women.
over, crushes her baby, and then says the other lady's baby is her baby, and King Solomon says, "Well, cut the
Oh,
baby in half, and you each can have half." And then the real mother is the one that said, "No, don't cut my baby in half."
I got you.
That's how probably people who aren't into the Bible would know King
Yeah,
Solomon.
yeah, no, I appreciate that because that makes me clear. Yeah, I mean everybody's heard that story before.
Hmm.
Roy said it took an hour before the chat developed into a food chat. That's got to be a record.
It might be.
Well, I will say the very first. Well, it wasn't the first chat because the first chat was kind of a test, but the very first regular chat was a food chat. Talked about cookies, and I did that on purpose just to see if we could talk about cookies for an hour, and we
I
talked
remember
about
that.
cookies for an hour. I did that on purpose.
I can talk about cookies for an hour standing on my head.
So, last band competition I went to that my daughters were competing in, they normally have a baked goods stands, thing like that. And so I had gone up to it, and they're like, "Oh, we're sold out pretty much anything but cookies. That's about all we have left." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. What kind of cookies do you have?" They're like, "Oh, pretty much anything you can imagine." I'm like, "Really?" Like, so
Like I can
being
imagine some
me,
pretty
I asked them if they had a peanut butter cookie with chocolate chunks and macadamia nuts in it, with M&M sprinkles, and she did not find that as amusing as I did.
Ozzy wants to know what's the bracket topic this week.
Is it cookies?
I was
No,
gonna
it's
laugh
not
if you said
cookies.
cookies.
That would have
No,
been a good segue.
it is James Bond vehicles.
We
Ah,
already knew
crap.
that. There was a spoiler last week, I believe.
So, would anybody be surprised if I said I've never seen a James Bond movie?
So I'm like,
No, Gary, I would not.
I was going to say, well, these are just going to also start that, I'm assuming. At least you didn't go, who's James Bond?
James who?
Never heard of it. Jameson Bond.
Well, I can bring up the.
Before you
Cool. I
Well,
can just
before-
vote for which one sounds cooler.
do that, you always
Before we do that, Ozzy sent in a picture of another holster he's working on. So let me show that because I will forget.
I got a thing before we started also.
Hang on, I gotta. There we go. Let me bring that up. So he said it's still drying, but I don't know. I kind of like the color on it with the snake skin.
Ooh, snakeskin.
Are we seeing something? Okay, there it is.
Real man would use alligator.
Fancy man would use ostrich.
I'd say, or Ray. Ray skin's pretty kind of cool too.
I was gonna say ray skin because then it's waterproof, right?
Yeah.
You think a snake skin isn't waterproof? Actually, all the skins would be waterproof, right?
You would think.
I don't know, but I think they all are.
I don't know. That's probably a legit question for Ozzy.
But the
Well,
stitching on it is pretty tight. Nicely done, Ozzy. You deserve a cookie.
should get a holster made out of alligator and call it the Ric Flair. See, we were talking about naming stuff earlier. I just brought it full circle.
So, what were you?
And you put sports in there.
Yeah.
I was looking at a thing on Instagram. So I still like Instagram. I still have it on my phone. And I was looking at a thing from, I forget it was some, you know how like now Instagram will say like if somebody you're following does a combination post. So I was seeing some posts that I'd never heard of the channel before, but it was posting with somebody I know, I guess. Anyway, they were showing us some magazine articles and I didn't have them. So I bought them off of eBay. So this is one of them that I'm opening for the first time live. Click on my keyboard. And then this is the other one that I'm opening for the first time live. And I did it without cutting the article. So I try to collect these things so that, I don't know, I guess so I have them. They don't cost that much. And the first one is broken. The first one is this one from April 6, 1998. Ugh, this thing always smells horrible. Holy crap, does that smell musty and shitty. So I don't know if you can tell, but it's a close-up look at the lives of two in the murderous ambush of their Arkansas classmates. So I don't even remember this one, but this is Time Magazine exploiting that atrocity. And then this is something similar but a different one. Oh, this one's in a magazine. That's nice. New York subway train, and this one is from December 20th, 1993. So does anyone remember this situation? I won't say the guy's name, but 23 people and 5 killed on a train from Penn Station to Hicksville, Long Island. Does anybody remember this incident?
I remember the name, but I don't remember the incident.
Yeah, same here. So when I saw these, I was like, dang, because I had bought the ones, I have like the episode, or what do you call these issues? Episode. I have the issues of these kind of things that the first time they ever used assault weapon. And it's an interesting article. I think I've done a video on it. I know I did Daily Gun Show or something back in the day. Because that article, the first time they say assault weapon, the freaking writer says like assault gun, like threatening gun, like threatening weapon. He says like every version of everything you can come up with. So assault weapon is more of like an eventuality of taking so many words and combining them. It was almost like he made word salad, or he was using some early version of AI or something, or like somebody that didn't speak the language was writing it, because he had so many of these. Like he couldn't just say gun; he had to always use some alliteration to say gun. An assault weapon was just, I guess, one that sounded good, so people kept it or something. But it wasn't like he just made this article and came up with like assault weapon. I just came up with it. It's like a shotgun. He had like all these things that he was coming up with. An assault weapon is just the one that people picked. So I just thought that was interesting, and you would never know it unless you read the article. It's only like 2-page article or something. Anyway, I have a bunch of these Time and Newsweeks or whatever those, like periodicals of the time that were sort of like, the pinnacles of where people got their news. And they certainly affected the Overton window, I think, because there was so few news sources and they were legitimized because they were so massive. So having like, like that Ruger on the cover in a bad way, that changed a lot of people's minds, right? And anyway, so when I saw like 5 of them, I think, that I hadn't seen before, that were, like I say, the ones I owned were like the assault weapons ban, and the first time they talked about suicide specials, which was before Saturday Night Specials, and then something else. Like I have a couple of instances of like the first time gun phrases were used. But when I heard that, these that were basically, I'm going to say, doubling down on like guns are bad and here's proof, like just in case you forgot, guns are bad, like just like we also are jumping on the bandwagon that guns are bad. So I bought of the 5 that they mentioned in that Instagram post. I bought 3 of them because they were like less than $10, and then the other ones were like $15 to buy, and I refused to pay that much. So that'll give me something to do on eBay. I'll keep searching for those last 2 until somebody will post them for like $2 and $5 or something. So I'll get them for less than $10. But now I have something new to try to collect on eBay. I don't know if that's interesting to anybody, but like for me, I was like, oh shit, I didn't know I could collect. I don't want to, like the reasons for the gun control. Like I bought the gun control ones. These are the manipulation, or the, what do you call it? Like the focus or the reiteration on the evil that causes the gun control. So, I mean, I'm not like one of these murder lovers, or like, people that listen to murder chats and shit. Like they probably would buy these. I never thought about buying these. And they're only like adjacent to guns because they're lighting the fuse of gun haters. It's not like they're actually they are anti-gun, but it's not like they're pro legislation against guns. I guess that's what I had got before, is the articles that were celebrating the legislation or suggesting the legislation. These are more like just saying, here's why guns are bad. And I never thought about buying these issues before. Anyway, I don't know if that's interesting or not, but I figured if anybody I know, you all would be the ones interested in that.
Yeah. X Adam 1 wanted to show his taco casserole.
It doesn't have green beans in it, does it?
Ugh.
Ugh.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, so it's not a green bean taco casserole. Good.
No.
There's probably lettuce, tomatoes, and cheese.
Looks like
oh, you were able to zoom.
So there's beef, your noodles, tomatoes, cheese,
Corn.
yep, corn.
Some kind of
Not sure if those with the green, if that's pea or
chopped up green peppers or something.
yeah.
Jalapenos. Jalapenos.
Jalapenos.
Jalapenos.
And Vulcan Rebel said, is the guy who shows up at Florida Gun Show that does iguana because they're an invasive species. I believe he also makes alligator too. One of the people I'd like to meet when I get to Miami. The way to get rid of an invasive species is to convince people that it's a delicacy.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, was he talking about food, or I thought he was talking about the leather?
Leather. He's talking about the leather. I was talking about make it into food. Yeah, that's a lot of places. That's how they get rid of a problem.
Yeah. Well, Dennis Miller had a joke one time. If they want to save all these endangered species, start farming for food. He said it worked with buffalo.
Roy said, man, old Ruger autoloaders were ugly. I like them. They're kind of fugly.
There's a whole, what's that guy who does the documentaries? I can't think of his name. The guy who's famous for doing documentaries, like the 3-part documentaries.
Ken Burns?
Ken Burns. There's a whole Ken Burns on the buffalo. Like, the only reason the buffalo exists is nothing to do with food. I mean, we do eat them. But it was because we were down to, like, very, 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 very few buffalo. And some very rich people were like, nope, let's not let 5, like, I think it was like 5 independent rich people were like, nope, let's not let that happen. And maybe like 2 of the 5 were kind of like happenstance. Like, they just happened to be raising buffalo and then they went extinct while we killed them. But that was definitely deliberate. Like, people were intervened to stop it from being extinct, and it wasn't just for farming or whatever. It wasn't until just recently we started eating them again. But just to figure out, throw that out there because it's a super good documentary.
There was a region in India that had a huge rat problem, and they convinced people that rats were good to eat, and that so everybody started eating rats, and that took care of the problem. The truffles were basically a fungus that grows on oaks, and it was killing the oaks. They convinced people that they were gourmet. People started hunting
Well, I think people also like eating them. Like, I don't think anybody had to be convinced to eat something that tastes good.
Well,
They had to be aware of it, maybe.
so and X Adam said mixed veggies, so peas, carrots, corn. Uh, oh, well, that's
But anyway, I think it'd be cool to see. I've never seen like iguana. Is that what the things are in Florida that everybody's killing all the time? Iguanas? Like, I've never seen their pelts or whatever you call like an iguana skin. And I've seen lots of other things. So I wonder what they don't keep any of them. You'd think somebody would be skinning them. Maybe it's too thin to do anything with.
so. Maybe. Oh, so the kind of the criteria was it has to be a vehicle that Bond drove. A couple of these aren't, they weren't issued to him by Q, but he drove them. So the Toyota S2000, uh, they were originally coupes, but Sean Connery was too tall to fit, so they had to make a convertible.
The production studio or Toyota?
Toyota.
Nice. That was back in the day of like, we're going to put your car in our movie. Can you make a new one?
I think this was the first year of their. It might have been the first year of the 2000.
When
Uh,
did the cars from Japan come out? Like, what years did they start coming out? And then I also don't care because I don't know anything. I guess what I'm really asking is compared to like Ferrari and Lamborghini, because I just watched that TV show or that movie. Were they happening at the same time, or was it like Lamborghini and Ferrari already did their thing and then Japan?
well, they were way behind.
Okay.
Sunbeam Alpine.
What movies are these? I've never seen that car.
I
Fake
forget.
James Bond? This is the fake James Bond.
No, it's Sean Connery.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember which movie is each of them came from.
That car loses.
Q Boat.
The Boatmobile.
Oh, make it a little bigger. The Lotus Esprit.
Is that the one that goes underwater like a submarine?
It was not in. I don't think it was in this movie. It's in two movies.
Octopussy, it doesn't, and the other one it does, right?
For Your Eyes Only. That was the first Bond movie I saw in the theater when I was a kid.
Oh shit, that's an interesting question. I have no idea what the first Bond movie I seen in the theater was.
Little Nelly. It's Wallace WA-116 Auto Gyro. Land Rover Series 3. Ford Mach 1. BMW R1200C.
I don't remember what movie this was in. Was he riding a motorcycle?
That's the one. That's
Oh, the
The
crate.
World Is Never Enough.
Oh.
Because it's with Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, okay. I think I remember now.
BMW Z8. BMW 750iL.
No. What movie is this? This one looks boring.
I don't remember which one. BD5J Acrostar Microjet.
Any jet that comes out of a horse's butt is going to win this poll.
Aston Martin Vanquish. And somebody had said asked, so is there going to be a lot of Aston Martins? Yes, there's going to be a lot of Aston Martins.
Were those made in England?
Yeah. Aston Martin V8.
Oh, I forgot about that, James Bond.
Aston Martin DB10.
Are any Aston Martins good cars, really?
The the DB10 is. Aston Martin DB5.
Now, at this point, I'm not voting for an Aston Martin out of spite because there's too many of them. There's no way.
Well, this is kind of his original car.
No way. Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever's in no, right? Like that has to be his original car, I would say.
AMC Hornet.
I'm going to vote for that one just to piss everybody off.
I think that's the last one. That I believe that should be Live and Let Die.
Back in the olden days of D&D, like I didn't like D&D that much because of the swords and shit. I got sick of it pretty quick, but I liked the game concept. So they came out with like a superhero version of D&D where you'd make same way you'd like make a character and do these like roll adventures with dice and shit, but it would be with superheroes, and I thought that was just more interesting. And then they came out with other stuff like the car, like the Mad Max type of thing, which was my favorite. But then there was also a James Bond version. So going through that thing gave me like flashbacks of like, like in D&D, there's a book with all the monsters in it. In the James Bond, there was like a whole section of all the cars. And like as you're reading them, I'm just like imagining all the time I spent paging through there, putting together some kind of character with all the, trying to figure out whatever the parameters were I had, at the time of. Anyway, it was pretty neat trying to go through the cars like that or the vehicles like that.
X Adam One. I was asking who I thought the real James Bond is. The first Bond I saw was
Sean Connery,
Roger Moore.
Oh.
The first one I saw in the theater was Roger Moore, For Your Eyes Only. But Sean Connery, to me, he's the original. He's James Bond.
At this point, I think I'm willing to say one of the cool things about James Bond is that there is a Sean Connery James Bond, there is a Pierce Brosnan James Bond, there, all of them, even the Craig guy, like they do Bond, like there's, that's what's cool about Bond. Is
I haven't had a problem with there being other Bonds.
I don't love them all, but yeah.
I even liked Lazenby. He wasn't even an actor; he was a model. But I liked Her Majesty's Secret Service.
And now, if we admit that there's a lot of Bonds, what about the funny one that nobody counts? And what about The Rock? And what about The Rock?
No,
it's a Bond movie.
It does fit in the timeline. But the original Casino Royale, no.
Is that the funny one?
Yeah, that's the one with
that one with like
Woody Allen,
Pink Panther or something.
Yeah, Peter Sellers, David Niven. There was a bunch of people in that movie.
So let me shuffle these.
What's the one that they go to New Orleans?
Live and Let Die.
The Voodoo. That I think might be my favorite one.
Mine is You Only Live Twice. The hollowed out volcano one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, that's a very, very good one too. A lot of karate in that one.
Yeah. So the first matchup is Aston Martin DB5, the original Bond car, against the Acrostar Microjet. Rich.
I'm going to go with the DB5.
DB5.
I always wanted one just because it was Bond's car.
G-Webs?
Well, Rich was wrong because the tiny little jet that comes out of a horse's butt hopefully will win this whole thing because that's one of the coolest things except for that white car that goes underwater.
One for the Microjet. Yes,
I've
sir.
seen a microjet. You ever seen one? I was at it hanging out when one friend was getting his pilot's license. We'd have to go drive out and fly around all the time because you have to get like hours. And the place where we'd go out and fly had one of them. So I've seen one like a bunch of times. It's really fucking cool. It didn't fold up though. Well, maybe it did. I've never seen it folded up.
Yeah, I've never seen one up close.
They're super small. They're so cool.
Gizzard.
Jet.
Jet. Barbecue.
Jet.
Jet. I'm going to vote for the DB5 because it's the original Bond vehicle. But
Damn, when's the last time we had 5 people in here? This is going to be cool.
the microjet moves on.
I guess I don't even know what Aston Martin that was. It could have been a cool one. Is it a curvy one or that boring one?
No, that's the old one, the 60s. Dr. No.
Yeah, I'm okay with my vote.
Defense Dad's asking, how could you leave out the Peterbilt that popped wheelies?
Nice.
What?
Well, I left out the tank too. But
Yeah, the T-55, you didn't have that in there either.
Or the violin case. That doesn't count. Or I
no.
guess it was some other kind of violin, some kind of giant violin case or whatever.
I'd be required to vote for a Peterbilt.
So now we've got the BMW Z8 against an AMC Hornet. Rich.
I'm not a BMW fan, so I'm going to go with the Hornet.
Can you put the
Hornet.
pictures back up, or is that going to be impossible?
I would have to close this and then open up the.
I just don't have any recall, and I don't know nothing about cars. So is that AMD, that orange car that looks like normal?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll vote for that one.
Gizzard.
Hornet.
Hornet. Barbecue.
Definitely going with the American Motor Company.
Ozzy is asking, what about the space shuttle?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Moonraker.
I'm going to go the Z8. I would have gone AMC if it was a Javelin.
Didn't he also drive around
Nice.
a hollowed out alligator, an octopusy?
Yeah.
Remember that from my book.
So now we've got the BMW R1200, the motorcycle, against the Aston Martin Vanquish. That's one of the curvy ones. Rich.
I think go with the Aston Martin.
Aston Martin.
Wrong again.
G-Webs.
I'll go with the motorcycle. I'd rather have a motorcycle than most of these cars anyway.
Gary.
BMW.
BMW. Barbecue.
Gizzard, if all expenses were paid, would you do like one of them Harley tours where everybody gets on a Harley and you drive around, I don't know, multiple states or whatever?
I don't know. Never drove a Harley.
I mean, I'm assuming they're they can't be that hard because they rent them to people. They must be pretty easy to.
If somebody's buying it, sure, why not?
Okay, sounds like we need to figure out how to get Gizzard a fully funded motorcycle adventure. There you go.
Barbecue.
Definitely the R1200.
Which one is that? Is it cool or something?
What, the BMW motorcycle?
Motorcycle? Oh, okay. Thought you voted for the other thing.
I'm gonna go Vanquish.
So now I'll ask you: is that one of the cool looking ones?
Yes. Very cool. But the BMW is gonna move on. Roy wants to know, is there anything James Bond doesn't know how to drive? Not as far as I know.
No, I'm kind of sure that's one of the things that they teach them. It's like how to just run things. Because he can jump in like a crane and the construction equipment and just run it also.
Well,
No problem.
they may not have taught him how to drive everything, but how to figure out how to drive everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we didn't actually see him drive an actual submarine, just the car that turned into one. So I don't know if he could drive like an actual Navy submarine because he only hitchhiked on one of those.
That's true. Crew serve shit though doesn't count when when it takes 4 people in 3 different locations to run something. Nobody can actually drive it anymore.
So now we've got the. Roy wants to know: does he have a forklift certification?
That's a good point.
I used to.
I
So
never
the
had
Q boat.
certification, but I just had fun on forklifts for damn sure.
Q boat versus Aston Martin DB10, another one of the curvy ones. Well, not quite as curvy. It almost kind of looks like Maserati. Rich,
I'm gonna go with the boat.
boat. Gee webs.
Which one is the Aston Martin again? I'm putting it in the search engine.
DB10.
So I don't like that boat because just something about it made me think of Batman all the time, and it's a little. Is it tongue in cheek the way to say it? Like I just don't like that movie and the way that it shoots out the. I just didn't like it for some reason, and that is a.
Oh,
Huh?
yeah, I was mixing up the Aston Martins. I was thinking of the V8. DB10
Well,
is one of the. It's
it
similar
looks kinda
to
like a
the
Porsche to me.
Vanquish.
To me, it looks like a Porsche, but I don't know shit. But I'm gonna vote for it. It looks kind of cool, and I just don't like that boat. I want to vote for the boat because it shoots out of a building and shit, but something about that boat rubbed me the wrong way.
A gizzard.
I'm going with the boat.
Boat. Barbecue.
So I, at this point in the bracket, have a goal of making sure none of the Aston Martins make it to the next round. So I'm going to go with the boat.
They make. I'm looking at the internet or whatever. They make that DB10 as a hatchback, like a station wagon. That looks kind of cool. Maybe it's.
I'm gonna go with the DB10. I didn't like the boat. It was too stubby. But the boat's gonna move on.
Story of my life.
Looks like they make a Hot Wheel of that car.
Yeah, Roy said the boat looks like a plastic toy. So now we've got the Autogyro against the Ford Mach 1. Rich.
I'm gonna go with Little Nelly. I was never a fan of that style Mustang.
Little Nelly. I've never liked the Mach 1s. G-Webs.
Well, I could also care less about cars, and I definitely like an Autogyro. So Autogyro.
Autogyro. Gizzard.
I'm going to vote for the Ford because America.
Ford.
Ooh, Autogyro's American. Or wait, no, is it French? Oh, shit, they might be French.
Thought it was Greek.
Barbecue.
I have no idea what an autogyro is. Sounds lame though, and I don't know. I always thought the Mach 1 was kind of badass looking. I'm gonna go with the Mach 1.
Mach 1. Mr. Bob wanted to know, where do you put the trolling motor on the Q boat?
Underneath.
Up front. Like a bass boat. Oh, I'm gonna go to Autogyro because if you learn to fly an Autogyro, you can survive the apocalypse and then eventually lead a tribe of humans.
So, you know what a helicopter is?
Yeah.
Right. It's a machine that flies by powering the 2 blades that spin, and then you go up or whatever. An autogyro is more like an airplane or like a wind. What do they call those things? Like a jet boat or a swamp boat. It's a a craft. You're going to sit in it, and it's going to have a motor that pushes you. It's a propeller that pushes you, but now you have a helicopter rotor, but there's no power going to it. So you don't have to power your rotor, but instead of having wings, like if you push wings, you become a regular aircraft. But
Mhm.
if you push a rotor, it's called an autogyro. So that thing moves around just like a helicopter, but there's no noise because there's no motor. So it's just going whoosh, 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 whoosh. But it's so you've got some of the aerodynamics of a helicopter, but you've got forward motion created by that thing that's the prop that's pushing you. So it's very small. It's like
Did you?
the size of smaller than a small aircraft, but it's also annoying because you got this massive rotor flopping around. It's just very quiet. So it's kind of a weird hybrid thing, and it's small. Like if you remember, did you see the uh, Mad Max? Or I guess it's
That's what I was going to ask him. I couldn't remember if he had seen Mad Max or not.
Been a very, very long time.
it's the
Like
guy
I,
in the airplane thing, and they don't really make a point of it. But like he said, like the only way that like you only need one engine and some and some parts, and you can turn a helicopter into one. So it could definitely be an post-apocalyptic device.
So I couldn't remember. There was um, a really popular movie, kind of like a Mad Max kind of movie. We had talked about this was a few weeks ago that you hadn't seen. That was the closest I've ever come to kicking you off a chat for not seeing that movie.
which
All
movie was
right.
it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was something that was unbelievable, like the Matrix or some shit, like some actual movie.
Oh, I haven't seen The Matrixes either.
Pretty sure it wasn't The Matrix, but it was something like that. But so the autogyro is going to move on. Now we've got the Sunbeam Alpine against the Toyota 2000. So Sunbeam, if it wasn't for Sunbeam, Sunbeam gave us the Tiger, which gave us the Rich. What did the Tiger lead to?
Uh,
Eye of the Tiger.
No.
Tiger pulled on the nose of the hippopotamus and turned it into an
the
elephant.
Aqua car.
Yeah. Oh. Now I forgot the name of the car, but
Porsche,
Liger.
oh,
Lamborghini.
American. Ford versus Ferrari. His car.
Ford car.
The Cobra. It led to the
Oh,
Cobra.
the Cobra, Shelby Cobra.
Yeah, Shelby, because that's where it evolved out of the Sunbeam Tiger into the Cobra.
I had no idea about any of that.
So, Rich,
I
are you
think
going
it's
to
a
go?
Shelby movie. I think I've seen a movie about Shelby.
Yeah, Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, is that the Shelby movie? Okay.
Yeah.
That's where he's in it. Okay.
The heck was that?
Somebody screaming outside.
No, some kid got
Impressive.
Oh, it's going down. So, Rich, are you going Sunbeam Alpine or Toyota 2000?
So you think a car sounds like someone screaming?
I assumed somebody was walking in front of his house and a bunch of kittens ran out and swarmed him. Person's around.
I'm gonna go with the Toyota.
I'm sorry.
Toyota.
Last night after we got home.
G-Webs.
What are we talking about again?
The Alpine versus the Toyota 2000.
I don't know what either one of these are. They're both cars, right?
Yep.
The Toyota is the one that they had to make a convertible because Sean Connery was too big to fit in the other car.
Oh, okay. I'll go with that one since I remember seeing that picture a minute ago.
Gary?
I'm going to go with the Sunbeam Alpine because I've actually seen one.
So Sunbeam is the name of the company?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was American?
Mm-hmm.
Detroit?
I don't know.
I'm going to look it up.
Barbecue?
So, while the story behind the Sunbeam, pretty freaking cool. The name of the car and manufacturer are absolutely atrocious. And Toyota makes the most American-made car in the world, so I'm going to go with Toyota.
Toyota. Yeah, I'm gonna go Toyota. If it had been the Tiger, I would have gone Sunbeam Tiger, but I'm gonna go Toyota.
So I just looked up Sunbeam car and then like read the thing that it told me. I've never heard of anything at all in this whole like giant paragraph of shit that it's referencing, like where it came from, where it, like it turned into the Talbot. Never heard of that. So Rotes Group, never even heard of it. The only thing in this whole thing that I've ever heard of is it says Chrysler Europe. So yeah, this whole thing, I've never even heard of any of this before. Interesting. It's cool.
Vulcan Rumble wants to know whose wife is that. That's Rich's wife.
Don't assume.
She is an absolute sweetheart. Don't make jokes with her, though.
She has no sense of humor. Barbecue found out the hard way.
It was epic.
So now the Lotus Esprit versus the Aston Martin V8. Rich,
I'm gonna go with the Lotus.
Lotus.
Like you, my real first exposure to Bond was For Your Eyes Only, and that car has just been iconic in my mind since then.
There is, I don't know if he was a teacher or administrator at my son's school. I would see him pull up in his little, it wasn't an Esprit, or might have been an Esprit, like a more modern one. But it's tiny, and I don't think I could fit in it.
Mm-hmm.
G-Webs. The Lotus is the one that went underwater, and the V8 is kind of the
Another one of the Aston Martins.
yeah, not quite as curvy.
I'm going to go with the car that turns into the sun right now, basically. I don't even live near the water, but I would drive to the water if I had that car.
Mr. Bob said Maxwell Smart drove a Sunbeam Tiger.
Plus, I just looked it up and it says that I kept reading and it says it was a British automobile. So Sunbeam isn't American.
Gizzard?
Going with the Lotus.
Lotus. Barbecue.
So, when I was a young lad, I had a GameCube, and I had Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. And one of the cars you could get on there was a Lotus. It didn't go underwater or anything, but just because they had the same names, I'm going with the Lotus.
Yeah, was Spy Hunter a Lotus?
I don't think so.
Spy Hunter looks actually more like a Aston Martin, the car.
But I'm going to go Lotus.
Oh, I typed it in because it was actually a G6155 Interceptor, which is what they call it in the game, which doesn't exist, turns out. But it was modeled after the Chevrolet Camaro Z28. I thought it was a James Bond.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, me too.
No, I would never guess that.
Vulcan Rumble said Voss's wife gave him permission to buy high quality guns. No, she's not a gun person. It's kind of a don't ask, don't tell deal. Roy said Spy Hunter looks like a blob of pixels. Vulcan Rumble wants to know: did Rich get permission too?
My wife shoots the guns too, so it's a mutual thing.
Rich's wife looked at the marriage contract and realized what's hers is hers and what's his is hers. So she's an enabler. It's a good thing for her. Works out in Rich's favor too.
She insists that the 627 is hers and not mine. So
see, I rest my case.
Defense Dad said he drove a Lotus Esprit. He had to take his shoes off to drive it.
yeah, they made those for years too. You kept changing the engine.
because the pedals are so comfortable that you don't even want to wear shoes.
So now we've got the BMW 750iL versus a Land Rover Series 3. So do you want boxy
Or boxy.
sedan or oil distributor? Rich.
I'm going to go with the Land Rover because you don't even have to have a switch to have an oil slick. It just does it automatically.
It's got non-standard bolts.
Mm-hmm.
G-Webs.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, but everything on this list, or most of the shit on this list, is probably metric or something. I guess a Land Rover, because I don't. Whatever has better resale value, because whatever I would get here, I would drive immediately to sell. So whichever one would make me more money.
Gizzard.
I'm going with the Beamer.
BMW. Well, that BMW you could drive with your phone, remote control.
Oh, it's that one. I'm going with that car then. I want the remote control car for sure. I feel like we should have those. Now they have electric cars that can drive themselves. I have a drone that can work with a phone. I want to be able to drive my car with my remote control. They can put safety on it, like if there's something I don't see, it can break or whatever. But I want to be able to drive my car to me with my remote control like Batman or James Bond. It's 2025. Is that too much to ask? You can push a button on your electric car and it'll come to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to be able to drive it to me.
Barbecue.
Land Rover.
It's like he doesn't even want a robot car.
Nope.
Land Rover. So I think I'm going to go Land Rover.
If you had a robot car, you could just get in there and tell it, like, take me to here, and it just starts taking you there.
I could, but I really like to destroy the environment, and Land Rover will get terrible gas mileage.
It's a remote control car. You might as well just get a Johnny Cab.
The hell is a Johnny Cab?
That one.
You've never seen Total Recall?
He's
It's
Gary level of movie ignorance.
I want to say I've seen Total
No
Recall,
offense,
but
Gary.
again, that's going to be one of those ones where I was really young. Like my parents would have been watching it, but since then,
So you put Gizzard and you put Barbecue next to each other, and then you get a list of some amount of movies, 25 or 50 or something movies, and then you see how many of them each one has seen, and then the one who's seen the most movies wins something. And they can just be regular old movies, like
well, just tie at one each.
exactly. It'll be like 4. Like the winner will have like 4 or whatever.
Right now I would put my money on Gizzard.
Yeah. Barbecue seems like he's got kids, but I don't know. Gizzard's probably seen most of his movies with kids too, right? Like somebody took you to the movie.
Well, I've been alive twice as long as Barbecue, for one thing. I probably saw more movies before he was born than he's seen. So.
I've seen like 6 movies before you were born, Barbecue. That's basically what Gizzard just said.
Probably.
So now we've got the Microjet versus the AMC Hornet. Rich.
How are you even thinking about this?
Do you not love America?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the AMC.
Come on.
I've never been a fan of that little microjet. Sorry.
G-Webs.
Tiny jet versus some boring ass car. I'll go with the tiny little jet.
Vote for Microjets. Vote for 9mm.
Tiny little jet that folds up into the back of a horse butt, and you drive it around in a horse trailer. Everybody just thinks you got a horse you're driving around.
Gizzard.
Well, every vote for this jet puts an American automaker out of work, so I'm going to vote for the Hornet.
Hornet. Barbecue.
I'm voting for the Hornet.
Hornet.
Because America.
Uh-oh. There we go. Defense Dad said you could drive the BMW after the bar from the back seat and not get a DUI. You could still get a DUI.
Yeah, because you'd still be operating it. Plus, you think you're playing a video game, you'd be smashing shit and like, oh, I got 10 points coming home after hitting that
Yeah, right.
mailbox and the other thing.
Playing GTA for real.
I'm gonna go AMC Hornet.
Oh my god,
Wow.
ridiculous,
Landslide.
ridiculous. It's fake. It's a fake ass bracket. Obviously, they're all paid. Obviously,
Told you.
No,
Vote for the microdose of the 9mm.
boring ass car wins against a fold up freaking airplane jet. A jet airplane, not just even a boring airplane.
Roy said the Hornet looks like a bootleg Starsky and Hutch. Yeah, it kind of looks like a Timu.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Timu Star. Well, it's a Timu Javelin.
We got a Starsky and Hutch car at home.
So the BMW R1200, the motorcycle, against the boat, the Q boat. Rich.
I'm gonna stick with the boat.
Boat.
Wrong.
Never get off the boat. G-Webs.
Can't pop wheelies in a boat.
Motorcycle. Gary.
You actually can't, but whatever.
Boat.
Boat. Barbecue.
We're going to go with the motorcycle every day and twice on Sunday.
Do they even have water in Kansas? Has Gizzard even seen a boat before?
Only the motorboats.
I live less than 5 miles from 2 lakes, so yeah, I think I've seen water.
Gary's a
Motorboat, son of a
motorboat
bitch.
and son of a bitch. I'm going to go motorcycle.
Whew, that was close.
So now the Auto Gyro against the Toyota 2000. Rich.
I think I'll go to Little Nelly still.
Little Valley.
Yeah, you get an Auto Gyro that fires rockets and shoots down other helicopters. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah. G-Webs.
Same thing. Auto gyro every day.
Auto Gyro. Gizzard.
Gyro.
Gyro. Barbecue.
It was the Gyro or what? The Toyota, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with Toyota. I love America.
And you hate the air.
Yep.
If we were meant to go in the
good.
sky, we'd have wings on our backs.
I'm going to go Auto Gyro.
Until pigs fly, I have no reason to fly. My bacon's on the ground.
So now the Lotus Esprit against the Land Rover.
Never saw a pig roll down rails either, but you'll ride on a train.
Yeah, but it's still on the ground.
Yeah, pigs don't go on rails. So why would you?
Get me to them quicker.
So what you voting for, Rich?
Oh, I'm going with the Lotus.
Lotus. G-Webs.
I'll vote for the vehicle that can go underwater for 1,000.
Lotus. Gizzard.
Lotus.
Lotus. Barbecue.
Lotus or what?
The Land Rover Series 3.
Oh. Not that it matters. I'm going to vote for the Land Rover. Just to be different.
In that
Dare to
movie
be
with the
different.
Land Rover, does it do anything? I don't remember. There's a girl in it, I think.
I don't believe it does. It's just the Land Rover.
Yeah, they're just driving in it.
Well, I'm going to go Lotus. So now we've got the Hornet versus the motorcycle.
Is there a vehicle that has the most gadgets, or that like the most gadgets were used in the show? Because I think it was probably one of the first ones, and then they just, because there's movies where there's like, I think there's only like two movies I can think of where they do more than one thing with the car. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
the one
barely-
that one on the ice, the BMW on the ice with the skis and the rockets.
right.
Maybe that one.
That's an example of a lot. But you know what I mean? Like sometimes they just kind of like, here's a bunch of switches and shit. And they never really do anything with them. They just have it and we know that they're there. But other movies, like they use the whole fucking gambit.
Roy wants to know: has he ever used a jetpack? Did
Yeah.
he use that
Yes.
70s?
Come on. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It
It's on the bracket for some reason because we didn't have enough room after all the load or after all the.
the real one only ran for like 15, 20 seconds.
He could have put in a bunch of buy rounds and just done a round of 32.
What they would do is they could only fly for 15 seconds, but they would give them a 1911. So as they started to descend, they would shoot one round of 1911. That would propel them another couple hundred miles as they start to descend. Another round of 45 ACP. And
No, this isn't the Backstreet Boy. There's no buys. Rich, AMC Hornet, BMW R1200.
I'm going with the AMC. I haven't voted BMW, and I'm not going to.
Wrong. Again.
G Webs.
I refuse to vote for the thing that ruined the jet from winning.
So you're going motorcycle.
Oh shit! The other one's a motorcycle. Hell yeah, a motorcycle.
Gizzard.
America's first name. We're going with a Hornet.
Hornet. Barbecue.
I really, really want to vote for the Hornet, but I was not planning on it coming up against a motorcycle. I've got to go with the BMW.
BMW. Huh.
Is there a jetpack in space used by James Bond?
I don't remember. Did he do a spacewalk in Moonraker?
I think he just sees people outside doing it. I don't think he does it. But then I'm thinking he might do it because the reason they show people doing it is because he's going to have to use it. Anyway, sorry.
I know in the promotional material they had him in a spacesuit on the one poster.
Plus, I guess it's not really a jetpack when you're in space. It's probably called something else.
I don't know which one to vote for. I don't like the look of the Hornet, and I don't like the look of the motorcycle.
Yeah, I don't think I like the look of the motorcycle. It's just that it is a motorcycle, and it's not a dumb car that beat a jet.
Just saying, you get to be a motorboat and son of a bitch way more with a motorcycle.
Well, I think I'm going to go the BMW just because Michelle Yeoh was on it.
See?
Right? There's a good chance you'd be driving it, and some chick would have to get on there and wiggle all around on you.
My wife and I used to take off on my Yamaha that I had, the
750 or 1100.
the 1100, and we just go out and drive. We'd basically ride until we didn't know where we were. Stop at a gas station, buy a map, figure out how to get home.
Awesome.
And then when I got the 850 years later, after I got rid of the 1100, I got the 850 and went out and ride with her. And she told me she didn't really like riding on the motorcycle. She just liked the spending time with me part of it.
It's pretty awesome.
So now
By the
we've
way,
got the.
She didn't like it because you made her do a Michelle Yeoh and like climb all around on you and ride backwards.
Handcuffed her?
And then, yeah.
Which one did you prefer more, the 1100 or the 850?
Oh God, I would say that probably the 1100.
Yeah.
It had bags and a fairing and power, a lot more power. The 850 was a little buzzy. Because when I had the V twin Yamaha, that was a lot smoother.
The Virago?
Yeah.
You never told me about the Virago.
Yeah, that's the one I bobbed.
Oh,
That one was put mini ape hangers on it. They were only like 12 inch. They were short ones, but
you have a photo of this?
yeah, I'll show you
You,
in after chat.
you have to share it sometime.
It was
What size?
super comfortable. That's the one I fell asleep riding home from work.
Oh,
Uh,
maybe you did tell me about that one.
but that it was after it was light, and it was okay power. It wasn't super powerful,
What was it, like
but it was
500?
comfortable. Yeah, ish.
One of the smaller Viragos.
Well, it was the 920, but it just
Oh, was
it
it?
wasn't the 850 was faster,
Yeah.
but the 850 was a triple.
Yep. And those inlines were something to behold.
But back to the bracket. I think we're losing everybody here. So the Auto Gyro versus the Lotus. Rich,
I'm gonna go with the car that turns into a submarine this time.
for the Lotus. G-Webs.
This is getting more difficult, but I'm gonna go with the auto gyro.
Auto Gyro. Gizzard.
Gyro.
Gyro. Barbecue.
Lotus again. Pigs don't fly, but they certainly could sink. And either way, I'm getting that bacon.
Lotus.
Would you if it was a semi-automatic gyro?
No,
All right.
those Greeks scare me.
Oh, now I get it. That took me a while.
That's a gyro, I believe how you pronounce
You
it.
know,
I'm gonna go
I
Lotus.
just went to a gyro restaurant the other day too, and I just now got that. It took me like forever.
So now we've got the motorcycle versus the Lotus. Rich.
I'm going with the submarine car.
The Lotus. G-Webs.
I'll go with the motorcycle that turns into a submarine. But I'm going with the Lotus, not the motorcycle. There's no Matchbox car of that motorcycle. There is a Matchbox car of that in the submarine mode, which is what I remember.
Gizzard.
BMW.
BMW. Barbecue.
to the people that voted for the submarine, enjoy hanging out with a bunch of dudes and your entire sausage fest that's going on there.
What are you talking about? It's a Lotus car, and you got a hot chick next to you, and you go underwater with her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going on the theory of the Navy of how long they didn't let women on the submarines. And I'm just going to apply that to all submarines in this case. Meanwhile, again, motorcycles, chick magnet, going with a motorcycle.
Plus, I'm going to take that submarine all the way down the Titanic. It's not going to crush.
Well, I'm going to go Lotus. I'm going to vote Sausage Fest. So the Lotus Esprit has been voted the best James Bond vehicle.
Weird. It makes sense, though. It's pretty iconic.
I don't know. I would have expected the DB5 to win it because it was the original. But since two people on this panel have not seen the, well, Barbecue said he had never seen any. Gary has maybe seen some. I don't know. How many have you seen, Gary?
Oh, wait,
James
you've never
Bond
even
movies.
seen the James Bond movies? Oh, my God.
Oh, I haven't seen any.
Oh, my God.
So yeah. So it might have been different had.
I don't even know. You have to, do that's out of spite. There had to, you had to just get up and go, I'm not watching this movie because it's on cable and shit. It's just, you in your
They don't have cable.
I'm saying, over at somebody's house or something.
Hell,
at a
man.
hotel or something.
ABC used to show all
bar.
the old ones one of them every Sunday back in the day.
Yeah, come on. I bet you have seen them. You just don't know that you.
Yeah, and they show Hallmark after school specials on the afternoons too. I don't watch those either, so
That makes
you
a
know.
good point. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I still think that I
He
insist.
didn't. He didn't.
You've seen
Didn't
them. You
get
just don't
past the
know
one
those
about
things.
angel dust, where what's her face jumps out the window.
That's pretty good. I do remember that one. And I never did Angel Dust based on that movie, so it.
But I have seen Kentucky Fried Movie. Oh.
Oh, shit, that's a good one. Has anybody seen that one? That's a rare one.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's funny.
Well, that was one of those movies on
this
HBO.
Fistful of Yen is the best part. That's half the movie.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of good parts to that movie. It's fucking incredibly good. But then it's also got obviously some parts in it that they don't even show it anymore, so you don't even see it anymore.
Yeah, my recording that I had of it was just Fistful of Yen.
Oh, that's all you got?
What when I recorded it?
I know what you mean. Yeah, like on a VHS.
Yeah.
All right, so I came up with something as you were saying something before. You know, it might be an interesting bracket. The best Bond villain layers, or is that what to call it? You know, like the Howard Alpha,
Lairs.
yeah, or whatever the different. Because some of them would be pretty freaking cool to have. Like I wouldn't mind having one of those. There's been a couple of Howdell volcanoes actually, but like that one where it's up on top of a mountain, like take the super villain out of there. That'd be a pretty cool place to have up on top of a mountain.
Was that the one with Telly Savalas?
I think it's a diamond one, right? There's a bunch of girls on top of a mountain.
Yeah, that's the
Right.
Telly where Telly Savalas plays.
I don't necessarily love that one, but I do like that whole like hanging out in the '60s villa or whatever. Is that what you call it? Like a house up on top of a mountain like that. I mean, I wouldn't be skiing. Let somebody else ski if they want. But I'd snowmobile up there.
So, we can do that. I wrote it down, so I'll look into it.
Yeah, the other thing is if there's 16 of them. I mean, I guess there's as many as there are. No, actually not. Some of them, they don't have an elaborate layer. Or what do you call it? There's another name for a hideout or whatever that's called.
Safe house.
Oh, there's like a more epic name for like a supervillain doing it at like this, massive scale. It's something more dramatic than layer, but maybe it is just layer.
Den of Evil.
I mean, would you call a Howdell volcano with a bunch of shit going on and like spaceships coming out of the top a layer? Like it seems more elaborate than a layer. Like there's a better.
So how did they hollow out the volcano? It's kind of already hollowed.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to do shit. That's the best part. You just leak the what's it called? The magma out of it or the lava out of it.
So wouldn't that just be like a refurbished volcano?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a refurbished extinct volcano.
A lot of times global warming will empty out the volcanoes and then supervillains are bound to go in there because it's a hollowed out volcano. What else is going to happen? So that's the real bad thing about global warming is that it creates supervillains. And the volcano's already pointed up, so why wouldn't you put a rocket in it to shoot into space?
And steal other countries' spacecraft.
Anybody else watch GRPC today at all?
No.
Nope, can't say I did. Didn't realize it was happening today.
Oh, shit. Definitely different than before.
So what happened?
I mean, it was 8 hours long, so a lot of things, but just different. Adam Kraut runs it now, and they've done different, they put a different crew, I guess, on production, I guess you could say. Different speakers. They had, the SAS guy who was in Africa doing something, and then there was like hostages in a hotel. So he's like, fuck this. And he went in there and like wailed on a whole bunch of terrorists for like an afternoon. you remember that happening?
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, that happened a while back. That was one of the speakers, or he was one of the speakers. And then, have you heard of Ruby Ridge in Idaho?
Yep.
So the daughter who survived is now an adult, and she wrote a book, and she was one of the speakers, Sarah Weaver. So, oh, and then two different people: the executive vice president of the NRA, and then the NRA ILA guy, maybe. Both spoke, and NRA hasn't been at GRPC since maybe like once or twice before, ever, since the 80s. And then Chris Cox was there. So I was on with Tony for a good 3 or 4 hours of it, I guess, 4 hours of it. So I was over talking a lot of it, didn't listen to it, but we were watching it happen and talking shit. But I listened to the first however many hours of it, and the production level is, at a professional level at this point, or like, what we'd expect from people that use the internet now instead of what it used to be. So quite different. And then plenty of shit I could rag on about, obviously, too. Yeah, definitely interesting. I'm surprised. I thought you guys knew about it or whatever. That explains why it had like a maximum of 75 viewers. Like, that part of it didn't change. Nobody gives a shit about it, basically. And it didn't gain people. And then they would, it wasn't run awesomely. It was just run better than it has been. So there was like 20-minute chunks of dead air, where they just have like a thing that says, we'll be back in 5 minutes, or we'll be back in 15 minutes. But it would go to like 75 people and then drop down to 10 or 20 when they did go to dead air, and then come back to 75. Anyway, 8 hours. There's a lot to talk about.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service was the one with Telly Savalas' Blofeld up in the mountains.
Okay, I would have thought Diamonds Are Forever.
Diamonds Forever was the Nevada desert.
Yeah. But I'm saying I just remembered that Diamonds being part of it, but I don't think it was, now that I was thinking about it. Something like he's brainwashed or something.
Yeah, that was the
Mm-hmm.
up in the mountain. It was they're doing therapy, some kind of therapy, and they were brainwashing them.
They're like, you need the kind of therapy where you go onto a chateau in the top of the mountains with a bunch of chicks. I'm like, okay, I could use that kind of therapy.
Oh, well, Rich,
Yeah.
it has been lovely having you here. Is there anything you'd like to let everybody know about what you got coming up?
Well, supposed to do This Week Unloaded tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, so that'll be on the Unloaded Media channel. And no idea what we're going to talk about, but we never do know what we're going to talk about. So if something happens today, maybe we'll talk about it. Yeah, as far as that's concerned, tune in if you want to be surprised about what the topic's going to be. But yeah, well, thanks for having me on. It's been fun.
Well, it's always nice to have new blood. G-Webs.
Well, I guess since you don't know, it's the Gun Rights Policy Conference is 2 days, so I'll be doing the same thing tomorrow. Yeah, thanks for hosting.
Gizzard.
Foul Territory, Monday night at 9 o'clock p.m. So, yeah, thanks for having me.
Barbecue.
Click the link in this description. Go find the link to get yourself some DM Foss swag. Do that. It will change your life. I have an idea for a bracket on my Thursday show. I think I might do like Batman villains. We'll see. possibly. It sounds like a fun one. Go check out Kingpin's channel. Every Second Matters will be coming up here this coming week. So Kingpin always does something. So check out his channel. And you know what? We're going to go and bully somebody to try and get them to start doing content again. So go find a way to contact Midnight Range and bully him into doing content again. Because why the hell not? It sounds like a good thing to promote. That's all I've got. Thanks for the invite.
Ever since I
appreciate it.
started wearing DM Foss merch, the girls started talking to me.
See?
Yeah, there's every fifth article of clothing I rub on my chest and my back, and it puts the DM Foss pheromones on it. And they're distributed randomly, so you don't know if you're going to get one of those ones.
That makes sense now. I was wondering why I got a wool sweater. I was like, I didn't order a wool sweater. This was supposed to be a regular sweater.
And if you're lucky, there's drool marks on it too. So no chat next weekend.
What?
No, I will be in Nebraska hanging out with cool fellas like Gizzard Gary and Guns and Barbecue. Carolina ADC reviews. It's out there just in
Good
time
evening.
to hear us close and shop. So the next chat will be Saturday after next. Yeah. And other than that, if you watch this replay, once again, leave a comment. I read the comments. I do appreciate them. They mean a lot to me. You mean a lot to me. You, right there. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. I'd love to hear from you. And other than that, I hope everybody has a good rest of the night and go do something good.